I'm 87 years old and I was married for 52 years. To anyone looking from the outside, our marriage seemed perfect. People admired us. We told everyone the same thing over and over again. We never go to bed angry. It became our rule, our sacred rule. We said it on our wedding day. We repeated it to our children. We shared it with friends like it was the secret to a lasting marriage. But the truth is, it wasn't true. We went to bed angry almost every night for 52 years. What we actually did was very different from what we claimed. Like most couples, we argued about money, about the kids, about his mother, about my habits, about his forgetfulness, about my complaints. Nothing unusual, just everyday marriage conflicts. Then bedtime would come. One of us, usually me, would remember the rule. I'd say, "We can't go to bed angry." Richard would let out a tired sigh. I would say, "I love you." And he would reply, "I love you too." And then we would turn away from each other. Two people lying in the same bed, backs facing, both still upset, both silent, barely moving, waiting for the other to fall asleep first. At the time, I believed that counted. I truly did. I thought saying the words was enough. I thought following the rule meant we were doing marriage the right way. We said, "I love you" every single night, for 52 years. Even when we were angry, especially when we were angry. So I thought we were doing everything right. We weren't. Not even close. Richard passed away 3 years ago, a heart attack. He went to bed like any other night and didn't wake up. That night, we had argued about whether he had taken his medication. The last words I said to him were, "I love you." He answered, "I love you too," but in that flat, distant tone he used when he was still upset. We turned away from each other. He died facing the wall. For the past 3 years, I've thought about those nights, thousands of them, lying side by side, but emotionally miles apart, angry about things I can't even remember now. That's the part that hurts the most. I can still feel the tension, the tightness in my chest, the stubborn silence, the need to be right. But the reasons behind those arguments? Gone. We once argued about his mother for 3 straight days. 3 days of silence, of forced "I love yous," of sharing a bed like strangers. I don't even remember what she did. I only remember how angry I felt. Money was another constant battle. He thought I spent too much. I thought he controlled too much. The arguments would start at dinner, continue through the evening, and follow us into bed. We'd say the words, "I love you," like we were supposed to, and then lie there, wide awake, still upset. The next morning, we acted like everything was normal. But it wasn't. It never was. What I understand now is this: never go to bed angry doesn't mean saying the words and ignoring the problem. It means actually resolving it. It means talking until you understand each other, apologizing when you're wrong, forgiving when the other person is sincere. We didn't do any of that. We treated "I love you" like a shortcut, like a magic phrase that would fix everything without any real effort. But it didn't fix anything. Our marriage didn't break all at once. It wore down slowly, night after night, argument after argument, silence after silence. I would lie awake in the dark, listening to Richard breathe, replaying every word of the argument in my mind, thinking of what I should have said, building my case, getting more upset as the minutes passed. By morning, I was exhausted, not because I hadn't slept, but because I had stayed angry all night. He was doing the same thing. I know that because once, maybe 15 years into our marriage, I asked him, "Do you just fall asleep after we fight?" He said no. He told me he would lie there for hours, thinking about what I said, getting more upset the longer he thought about it. We both suffered through that, and we never talked about it. We had friends, Tom and Linda, who handled things differently. Their arguments were loud. They lasted for hours, sometimes until the middle of the night. But when they went to bed, it was over, truly over. They talked things through. They apologized. They meant it. And then they slept peacefully. I used to think we were better than them. I would say to Linda, "We never go to bed angry," like I was winning some kind of competition. She would just smile. Tom and Linda were married for 54 years. They held hands until the day Tom passed away. I can't remember the last time I held Richard's hand in bed after the first year of our marriage. My daughter Rebecca is now 58. About 10 years ago, she told me she and her husband David were going to counseling. I was shocked. To me, counseling meant failure. It meant something was broken. I told her, just remember, never go to bed angry. She looked at me and said something that stopped me cold. Mom, you and Dad went to bed angry all the time. I almost argued. I wanted to defend us, to say, no, we didn't. We always said, I love you. But I didn't. Because she was right. She grew up in our home. She heard the arguments. She saw us turn away from each other. She knew the truth. Rebecca and David went through counseling. They learned how to communicate, how to express what they really felt, how to listen, not just respond, how to resolve issues instead of covering them with empty words. They've been married 35 years now. They still hold hands. They still face each other when they sleep. I spent 52 years beside a man I loved, but never truly opened up to. We talked about daily life, bills, groceries, schedules, television, but we avoided deeper conversations. We didn't talk about our feelings, our disappointments, or our needs. When something hurt me, I would mention it, but never explain it. Instead of saying, when you forget our anniversary, it makes me feel unimportant, I would just say, you forgot again. He would respond, I'm busy. And I'd say, you're always busy. And just like that, we were arguing about the surface, while the real issue stayed buried. He probably had his own unspoken hurts too, things I did that made him feel unappreciated or overlooked, but he didn't say them, and I never asked. We focused on the symptoms, never the cause. The hardest truth to accept is that I believed we were good at marriage. We stayed together, we raised our children, we never divorced, we said I love you every day. From the outside, everything looked fine, but we hadn't figured anything out. We were just following a rule and doing it wrong. There was a moment, maybe 20 years into our marriage, when I lay in bed after one of our usual arguments and thought, I could leave. It wasn't a serious plan, just a thought. Maybe I could find a life where I didn't go to bed angry every night. But I didn't leave. I stayed for 32 more years. And nothing changed. Richard wasn't a bad man. I wasn't a bad woman. We weren't the problem. We just didn't know how to truly connect. We knew how to share responsibilities, raise a family, and run a home, but we didn't know how to be vulnerable. If I had another chance, I would do things differently. I would let go of that rule. I would say, no, we're not going to say I love you and pretend everything is fine. We're staying here until we understand each other. I would ask him what he was really feeling. I would tell him what I was truly feeling. I would cry if I needed to. I would listen when he needed to speak. I would rather stay up until 3 a.m. and resolve things than go to bed at 10 p.m., carrying anger for days. What that rule should really mean is this: don't carry unresolved pain into the next day. Don't let resentment build. Don't allow problems to pile up over time. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine, because pretending doesn't fix anything. Richard is gone now, and there are things between us that were never resolved. Old arguments, old wounds, some from decades ago, that we simply covered up and moved past without truly healing. And now, I can't go back and fix any of it. I would give anything for one more real conversation. One honest argument where we said what we truly felt, listened to each other, apologized, and meant it. One night where we fell asleep facing each other, instead of facing the walls. Instead, I'm left with memories of distance, of silence, of space between us, even when we were inches apart. If you're married or planning to be, please learn from this. Don't just follow rules, connect, communicate, resolve things honestly. And when you say, I love you, make sure it means something. And if you're too tired to finish a conversation one night, it's okay to pause, but promise to return to it. And actually do. Don't spend decades lying next to someone you love without truly talking to them. I'm 87 now. I sleep alone. And the truth is, it feels very similar to how it felt for most of my marriage: quiet, distant, and lonely. That's not what a marriage should feel like. Never go to bed angry doesn't mean what I once believed. I just wish I had understood that sooner. If this message spoke to you, support the channel. No filter advice. By liking, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing for more honest, real-life perspectives.